What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA show. I'm with the boys, Xavier and Nick. And today, guys, we are going to be looking at UFC 328. Sean Strickland again pulls off an insane upset and beats Khamzat Chimaev by split decision. There's a lot of talk about here, guys. The fight itself, the upset, the aftermath, the trash talk. Khamzat apparently wants to move up to 205 now. Let's start with the fight itself. Let's just start there. What did you guys see in there? What was the reason that Sean Strickland was able to pull off another insane upset on Saturday?
Well, what I saw was a cardio dump number one. I think that the weight cut really fucked him over. If you've seen like the pictures of him on the scales, he looked kind of terrible on the scales. He like was the last fighter to make weight with like 26 minutes left and like clearly was like in a bad way going into the fight. I think that the rumor is that he was cutting weight to go to was gaining weight, bulking up to go to fight Yuri at 205, and when that fell through and they offered him this, like he had to, I think he apparently got all the way up to 230 if Khalil Roundtree's to be believed, and he was like training with him. So he basically, like, in my mind, he brought his cardio issues from welterweight up to middleweight by gaining too much weight and then trying to cut too much weight the improper way. And it showed. I mean, was that not the cardio of welterweight Hamza, where for a round he looked dominant, and then in round two there was clearly a dump off? Like that's what I saw. Um, the second he shot that bullshit takedown and allowed Strickland to like get on top of him, I was like, oh, he's fucking gassed. Like he was fucked from that point on, and like he took the rest of the round off, stayed on the bottom. He knows he could have scrambled his way like up if he was like trying at all, but he just basically accepted the bottom position, gave up the round, and then like for most of the rest of the fight, besides a couple of key moments, he decided to strike the whole time, to save energy, which to his credit, I thought that he did bounce back well and like after in like rounds 3 through 5, cardio wise. He seemed like he caught a second wind and he was getting like a lot of good strikes off. Like he was kind of landing what I felt was the more damaging shots in there. Um, and doing well on the feet, but it was clearly like not the ideal way to fight Sean Strickland. And he basically fought in a way that left it in the hands of the judges, and we see that like he lost that way in two of their minds.
Yeah, I mean, two main reasons for me. Um, Clearly the gas out. Uh, when I heard the weight cut was like 30 something pounds, I was slightly worried, but and also I don't know why he's that much overweight, like when we're like about 2 weeks out from the title fight. I mean, this fight has been announced for like a month or two now. He should have been cutting. Like, I don't understand that. It clearly seems like he just wants to move up to 205 and decided to weight cut this like last second, basically. And it definitely costed him. But I will say, even finding the second win, I do feel like part of the reason was Strickland showed the best takedown defense versus him that we have seen, or at least even the ability to get to a knee. Like Hamzat only the only dominant position he got was in the first round with when he took his back and got the body triangle in. But outside of that, like he never could hold Sean down for the most part. And big ups to Sean. It's weird because watching the DDP fight, I swear I saw him take him down more times. But after what we just saw Hamza did to that man, it doesn't make sense to me. But I thought Sean did the right things to get back up.
I think it's training reps, man. That's what happens when you like. put former training partners in there together. I think, I think that like, because even in the build up, they were both saying like, yeah, Hamzat like was submitting me in the gym and shit sometimes, like, you know what I mean? And then Hamzat's like, yeah, I was submitting you like damn near all the time, like I was just whooping your ass in the gym. But at the end of the day, like Sean's the kind of fighter where he's gonna like keep grinding, keep learning, keep fighting. And the one thing I will always say about Sean Strickland, I have never seen him quit on himself. Whereas like a lot of fighters quit, damn near it's the Cheeto Vera effect. Like Cheeto Vera can be shit for 4 rounds, but in the fifth round he's coming, bro. And that is enough. That by itself is enough to beat a lot of fighters. And I will give that to Sean. And I think that like he just kept understanding like if I just keep getting up, Hamzat's gonna like break. He's gonna break. And I don't think he would have if he was not so depleted and like because I mean even then the way he looked in round two versus one, like it was clearly an adrenaline dump. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of a giraffe. It was like a terrible gas out. You know what I mean? Um, even for him. So I do think that that's more so what it was. But either way, just by making him work so much, like he taxed that gas tank out and grinded his way.
Yeah, a lot of people that have trained with Sean Strickland and people like Dean Thomas, they say he's very hard to deal with in the grappling, like taking him down, keeping him down. He's really tricky down there. And yeah, I guess it was evident in this fight. Guys, I just want to go on a bit of a tangent, little rant here on the side. I feel like I don't like the shit on fighters for losing their O's because this isn't boxing. You're not a loser if you lose your O, but I feel like the way Hamzat just lost his O and his belt and his aura of invincibility, I was very disappointed on the way he went out. Like if Sean Strickland went out there and either dominated him or like knocked him out or something like that and took that belt from Hamzat, took the boogeyman down, I wouldn't like have this weird feeling, but he kind of just Sean Strickland the boogeyman. Like I didn't see the boogeyman in there and it made me upset that this is how Hamzat loses. Like this is how it kind of goes out the window. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I thought it. Well, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I you better believe me. I feel you that whole rant. Like the fact basically, like we'll get into the fight in a second here. But basically the fact like the second round was great. I thought what Sean did in that round was like we never seen Hamzat have to pull Garvers anybody. And like especially Sean being on top of him for 3 minutes. That was the most impressive moment of the fight. But the fact, like, I just saw Sean the rest of the fight flick out this jab. This man won a world title off flicking a jab for the last 3 rounds, basically. I didn't even see, I saw one teep the rest of the fight. I don't think I recall any leg kick, maybe two body kicks at best. It, it was just so sad to watch, like, because Hamza, that's just not what he does. Like, he's a good striker, but, like, that's not what he does. So to see Sean like kind of painfully win through this like little flick jab that like he was just throwing no heat into whatsoever. It is frustrating that that's the man. I mean, all respect, but like I don't know. I feel like a lot of if Sean fights that way in the next couple of fights, I don't see him winning on the feet, but it's a big aura loss, and I think it's just a bigger loss for the UFC. Like a big superstar, he's not Duns. He might be Duns with this division though, based on what he's saying, based on the fact he came overweight, and that's disappointing because if he would have won this fight and maybe even the next one, there would have been talks of a GOAT debate in some fashion. And so it's such a big loss to Sean. It's a big win for Sean's career. I mean, it boosts him to maybe a top five status almost, but you know, I have my issues with him and how he fights, and I'll get to that when I score this fight, but it's a tough look.
How did you guys score the fight live?
I had round one, obviously Hamzat. Round two, obviously Strickland. I thought that three and four you can just split them either way, however you want it. Kind of both razor thin. Maybe, yeah. I mean, they were both pretty close. And then round five, I thought that Hamza had obviously he started with the grappling, got a little control time, and then I felt like he won the first half of the round essentially, and then Sean Strickland won the second half of the round, which tends to me more some like in the minds of judges. But I did think that like the fact that he was getting marched around the cage all around like the whole fight had to matter at some point, you know what I mean? I think that like when all things else are equal, you either go to like grappling or you go to like cage control. And Hamza had the cage control damn near the whole fight, you know what I mean? And I thought that that would have been enough to like in a razor thin fight edge it out that last round. But I mean, the judges saw it differently, so I had it for Hamzat, but like I completely understand why Sean Strickland won, and like I think it's kind of like the Alexander Volkanovski effect, it's because someone's doing so good against Hamzat. I think it's like a little hard to like look at it objectively for the fact that like I saw Sean Strickland rocked with more hard shots through the whole fight than I saw Hamzat rocked with really. And Hamzat was marching him around the cage, you know? Like, yeah, that jab kept sticking Hamzat and it did bust him up a good amount, but like at the end of the day, it is just a jab. And like if he's not getting rocked off that or really like deterred in any way, like there was few moments where Sean like deterred him and like got on the front foot because he actually hurt Hamzat. You know, Hamzat was just walking through everything and like, yeah, I'm gonna eat a little jab to the forehead a couple of times, but like I'm landing the bigger shot. So I honestly thought that Hamzat should have kept his belt there. But because it was so close, like I can't be mad at the judges for seeing it a different way. Like Sean did deserve the win as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a robbery at all. I mean, round three through five, I thought were razor close. Um, First two were pretty obvious. I gave the fight to Hamza for like several reasons. Honestly, the fourth round, I thought he cleared it with the takedown, control the last minute of it. I thought he landed some of the better shots as well. But the third round to me was a toss up. And I felt like watching it live, I felt like Hamzat's defense, with the blocks on like some like a hook or two, or even like I felt like Sean was just hitting the gloves a lot and like kind of missing to the chest almost. And I felt like Hamza landed just the better looking shots and crispier shots. But I mean, if that's what it takes to win a world title, just throw a flick jab in gloves. I mean, I might have to go out there as well, y'all. I could get this done. So the third's close. I think Sean probably takes it just off like a little more activity, but honestly, I thought you could make a case Hamza won that round. I thought he landed just the slightly crispier shots. I think Sean, and that was my big issue with Sean. He's just flicking out the jab the whole fight. Like, at least put some, spice behind it, Just like at least a little like power. Like, it didn't even look like man was trying. It was just like a little flick. Oh,
It
man.
really was sparring, to be honest. They were buddies the whole time.
It
Yeah.
makes me sick, man.
Yeah, in the fifth round, kind of a toss up. Maybe you give it to Hamza for uh the grappling. I think I gave that to Sean and gave Hamza the third. I don't know. I kind of felt like Hamza, the good old quote, to be the champ, you gotta beat him. And I just feel like he didn't do that really.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you guys. Watching it live, I thought Khamzat was going to get the split decision, but I can't be mad with them giving it to Sean Strickland. Shout out to Sean also just having the two craziest upsets like in middleweight history and like top 10 maybe UFC history.
I'm saying
So
like he's arguably in the GOAT conversation in the weirdest way. Like he doesn't have the best he doesn't have the best resume in terms of like spotless record, no losses, but he does have the best wins arguably. It's like he beat like the two GOATs essentially of his era, and it's like damn, like and came razor thin. Like you could argue, I would argue he won that first DDP fight. Like
Hmm.
I did argue he won the first one, but I mean like either way, even if he lost it, it was another fight like this where it was like razor thin. It could have gone either way type shit. So I mean, like he is one of the best middleweights of all time.
yeah, and guys, we're gonna touch on 185 Hamzat, what's next for Strickland, Imanov, all of that in a separate video later this week. So look out for that. There's just too much to talk about in this card. We don't want to drag it on. Let's move on, guys, to this co-main event. Joshua Van gets his first title defense in one of the best fights of the year against Tatsuro Taira, knockout in round five. I think both guys look very impressive. Van proved that he deserves to have the belt, and Taira he had his spots out there, but he'll be fine. Well, I guess we'll start with you, Nick, because you're the Joshua Van fan club leader. What did you see out there from real
Hey,
boy?
first off, where's Cave at, y'all? He was supposed to be here. I wanted Cave, honestly, for this moment, but it's all good. We'll wait for him. You gotta be get my Hiroguchi version. I don't know. But, you know, I thought Tyra was getting to his spots well in the beginning of the fight. But when he was in those spots, and I texted this to y'all, like, I was like, this is some giant Almeida type of game plan here. He was for real in full mount, or not complete full mount, but like basically mount, like multiple times, and was just kind of laying on top of him, like not really doing anything. And I feel like it almost gave Van confidence because one, you're not putting a beating on him on the in full mount. And he's just kind of sitting there, not really have to conserve that much energy. But obviously, you can't win a fight if you're just, sitting down there. And I thought Van did like a great job, like getting to the butterfly position, like every time he got taken down in that full mount situation. And he was able to use that to get back up. It's almost like he's just a little ball of muscle and he's like too small. So he just has this ability to like squirm his way out. I kept saying this for Pantoja. I kept saying this man got more off the back than we realize. Now, can he be taken down? Yes. But Tyra is a big man, a lot bigger than Pantoja, younger. I would say more explode like Pantoja's 35. Like at this point I would say Tyra the more explosive starter. Um and that's what we saw of him. But once he wasn't doing all these things and when Van started to get back to his feet, I mean, we knew the difference in the striking coming into this fight. We just knew. We knew Tyra doesn't move his head well. And that Van was just gonna piece him up there, and boy, did he piece him up when they got on the V. Got the knockdown late in round two. I thought he was out at first, to be honest. I'm surprised he even survived that one. But then just to enter round three was just a complete ass whooping, bro. Complete ass whooping. From start to finish in that round, easily a 10-8 round. Knocked him down at least. I don't know if he knocked him down twice, but at least once in the round. Almost finished him by almost choking him out. I I don't know if it was like the smartest move but it would have been a very cool moment. And he's also showing off his like grappling as well, that he could do that kind of shit when he wants. But this man, Van, I just keep saying it, just super talented guy. Like, and it just feels like he's getting better every fight. To me, gotta be. I think he's the top boxer in the sport right now. I can't think of anyone ahead of him right now, and I guess Taporia, but close one and two basically. He's so crisp, just so good in his movement and downloading information. But Tyra just didn't, have the most for him. He had a nice leg kick, I thought that was working somewhat, but Van's just a little Terminator. And the fact Tyra survived and even made it to the fifth was amazing, but Van had to give me some extra points in fantasy and quickly finished him with a nice body shot and then beat the brakes off him the rest of the fight. I can't stop smiling. It's a great day here, and Team Clark. He's in my starting five. You know, just a big fan, and his name is Vaughn. I learned Vaughn, not Van. Vaughn.
Yeah, pretty much covered it. Coming into this fight, we definitely did know and talk about in the pre-show that like Tyro does not really move his head off the center line very well. Um, Basically, whenever Van was throwing, he was landing. Um, and even though Tyro, when he was like, fresh and explosive and they were both dry and shit, like he was able to get the takedowns like I don't want to say at will because Van was putting up like some resistance, but pretty quickly. Just using his like size and strength, athletic ability, like ability to like just lift Van up and get him down with body locks and shit. But like you said, credit to Van. No matter how bad of a position he was in, um, Tyra was not able to do any damage without him, like, escaping that position. I thought that, Tyra was wasting a lot of energy down there and not doing a lot of damage. And like when Van did get up to the feet, and because I believe he did in all of the rounds, like when he was taken down, I think he got back up in every round eventually. Um, like obviously, like Tyra had more control time earlier in the fight than later, as it went on. But um, when he was down there, like I was realizing, like, damn, Tyra's really not doing any damage. And when Van does get back on the feet, even if it's for the last 2 minutes, 1 minute 30, he's putting good hands on Tyra. And that's not to say Tyra was like bankrupt in the striking. Like you said, that leg kick was landing decent. I thought he could have went to that more and maybe I don't think it would have changed the fight outcome, but like it would have helped him a lot. Keep Van off of him a little bit more. Um, but yeah, Van just did his thing, man. He downloaded. He started to defend the takedowns before they came, and obviously that helps. Like when Tyra's getting more tired and beat up, like they're gonna be as less slow. They're gonna be more slow, less explosive and shit. So like more telegraphed. So, but he started sprawling decent, making sure he stayed on the feet. And at that point, once Tyra was like huffing and puffing and zombie reaching for takedowns like Khamzat in round two, it was fucked for him, you know. He was stuck on the feet with a bad man and he got put down. I did think that the stoppage was a little bit iffy from Tyra's point of view. Like if I was Tyra, considering how close the fight was to that point, like you could have argued it was 2-2. Like I would have wanted to, go out on my shield in a title fight, but I do understand that, like, from the ref's perspective, he was another two piece from being like out. So, I wasn't too mad at it.
Do you not think it was a 10-8 in round three?
I mean, it could have been, but like, I don't know. It didn't have to be, you know what I mean?
Uh,
It's something I really appreciate about Josh Van's game. It really was highlighted here is the combinations that he throws. He very rarely just throws a single strike, which I feel like a lot of people in MMA kind of get stuck doing. He throws straight up boxing combinations out there, and I feel like sometimes it sucks his opponents into having to throw something back in the moment, and Van's just ready for it. I think his boxing is fantastic, and another thing I learned from this fight, I mean, you could say the same things for his other ones, but you can't just straight up stand there and stand with him. You have to throw in leg kicks. You have to throw in body kicks and grappling. You can't just stay in the pocket with him. And guys, I'm even more excited for this Pantoja Van rematch after this performance.
he better drink his milk, just like Van said at the post fight presser.
So, well, flyweight is in good hands. Flyweight has a bunch of really fun matchups, like we touched on. Cape Horiguchi's happening, I think, this month, and that'll have a lot of title implications.
Fight of the night, like I call, like this was destined to be fight of the night, like no other way.
And Tyra, he'll be fine. He'll be in this top five ish for a really long time, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't get put all the way out for his own like long-term brain health.
Definitely,
He's like 26, like no reason to like let him just take unnecessary punishment. He'll be back.
for sure. All right, guys, let's move from flyweight to heavyweight here. We get featured fight of the night. Alexander Volkov defeats Waldo Cortez Acosta via unanimous decision. I feel like he just like had slightly better moments in the striking. It was a pretty mid fight, to be honest. I think we were all rooting for Waldo just for the division's sake, but Volkov gets another nice decision win here, I guess. What do you guys think about this one?
I have a personal gripe with this because like they one judge ruled it a 20 a 30-27, and I took Waldo plus points. So I needed him to win one round on everyone's card. And I thought for sure he would have won round three. Like I thought round three was clearly his. Like he was kind of fucking Volkov up. It was looking like shades of the Derek Lewis fight. Like it was looking like he was gonna, have another like last minute collapse, to be honest. Like and that shit just personally fucked me in a parlay, like out of a like $100. So I was like kind of personally blew on that. I thought that like the fight was a lot closer than like even the announcers were giving it credit for. DC was just like talking shit. When his corner said like I think it's like 1-1, I'm like that feels about right. Like Volkov was getting busted up in there, you know what I mean? And again, like what do we value? Like at some point, cage control has to matter, you know what I mean? Like yeah, he's backing up and using his length well, but like Waldo's crashing in and landing the more damaging strikes. Like objectively, for 99% of people, when you're backing up, your shots are not as damaging as if you're walking forward. Like, you know what I mean? And sometimes like we're just giving too much credit, I feel like, to these like little defensive punches. Like, you know what I mean? Defensive stay away from me punches. Like, yeah, that's cool and all, but I'm coming for you and I'm landing and like I'm imposing my will on you, you know what I mean? And at that point, like at some point that has to matter. And I think that in the modern game, I don't like how little we like value that. Like at some point, I don't care if you have a mostly defensive style, but dance around, land your shots, and at some point, I expect to see you starting to like assert yourself and go forward. You know what I mean? Like you can't be backing up the whole time talking about you won unless it's like very clear in the striking differential. But if it's like pretty close and you've been running around the cage, like those strikes don't have the same pop on them 9 times out of 10. So yeah, that is just a personal gripe. Like I see why Volkov won this fight, but like I thought it was a lot closer than like what people were saying.
Oh yeah, I thought 30-27 was atrocious. I think Volkov won the fight, but I did give round two to Waldo, I think, off the top of my head, and three was close. Like 30-27 when I heard that, I was like, there's
I'm
no
like,
way.
no way he didn't win one of these bitches at least. Like ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 30-27 outright. I literally just rewatched it back to see what I missed because I could care less to watch Volkov fight. I figured he'd pull some fluky shit out of his ass like this again. It's crazy how he does it, man. Like he is just this big lug just in there. I swear.
He does use his length really well, though. I'll give that to him.
Yeah, but it's just like, man, like, don't you wish you could be like how tall is he? Like 6'8" or he tall? I don't know how tall
7.
he is. Oh, okay. And like, man, I just know I could beat Volkov if I trained.
Oh my God.
I just know. But anyway, like it was I thought Volkov won just watching him back down. I mean, it kind of comes down to the first for me. I think the last two were split like either way. But I thought the first was like the most razor because I after the fight I thought Volkov won, but then I went back to watch the first again, and Waldo does have a few flurries that I feel like caused way more damage than those like little. I mean, Volkov was mainly just throwing leg kicks in the first, like not really doing much else. So it's a weird one to score because I mean, Volkov was definitely a little more active. So I guess I would lean Volkov, but like a razor close fight, I would have been fine if it went either way, to be honest. But yeah, 30-27. And I hear some people thought Volkov won clearly, which I just disagree watching it back. But, I don't know, man. I guess we want these boring fighters in the top five in here.
I'd love to see Hockett fight either of these guys, to be honest, after he beats Derek Lewis, presumably.
I think you might run Volkov over, bro, on the ground.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just,
and Waldo would be a banger too. Yeah, those, yeah, but
Something tells me Waldo has takedown defense.
I don't think they make that fight now. I think they would just pair him with Volkov.
that's a really fun fight. All right, guys, let's move to welterweight. Um, I low-key had to check if there was a finish because I forgot because of how dominant the fight was. Sean Brady, it was a unanimous decision. He didn't finish Buckley, but he UD'd the fuck out of Joaquin Buckley. Shades of the Edwards fight without the finish, just complete domination on the ground. Buckley, he had ideas on the feet, but it just wasn't enough at all. The takedown defense wasn't there. I don't want to shit on him and say he didn't learn anything from the Usman fight after taking 11 months off, but like that's what it kind of looks like. But Sean Brady, absolutely huge bounce back win after that KO loss to Morales.
I just think that there are some skill gaps that are too wide to bridge in a short time span. Like I think that the grappling advantage that Brady has over him, like, is too much that like a couple months ain't gonna fix that. I thought that his only path was to really sting Brady up on the feet, and I just think that like people forgot like just because Brady got his ass whipped in his last fight, that was Michael Morales, you know what I mean? Like Buckley ain't that man, you know what I mean? He's not that big for one, and like he's never been that guy. Yes, he punches hard. Yes, he's athletic, but like he's always been susceptible to like skilled fighters, and like Brady is, if nothing else, that. So I kind of like knew this was gonna happen. Like I didn't think it was gonna look this dominant, to be honest. I thought Buckley was gonna fight a little bit better, like keep him off a little bit more. But like Brady, anytime he kind of wanted, anytime he got his hands on him, like Buckley was going down and staying down. Like he couldn't get him off, and like I kind of just knew it. Like you know what I mean? Like Buckley is a solid fighter, is a great athlete, but like the skills are not all there for real. And like I don't think that they ever really will be because he's not young enough to really bridge the gap. He's gonna always have to fight like an athlete, and that only gets you so far.
Yeah, against my better judgment, I made the Buckley pick. Crazy money swing also on that fight.
Very weird.
Buckley became the huge favorite. I mean, it happens, but it just completely swung over. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought working with Usman, in Florida would help him a little bit here. Because, like, as Brady is a good wrestler, but I don't know. Like, before the Morales fight, all he fought was Leon. I don't even know who he fought before. Like, I just feel like the resume wasn't super strong. And at least, like, Buckley has, like, an X factor. So I thought maybe he's learned his lessons, but no, he's always lost the same. And I knew it. It was against my better judgment. I said that in the preview. I wasn't confident in the pick, but he has one of my favorite KOs ever, so I always kind of root for him a little bit. But Brady dominated. Struggled a little more than Usman to get him at times, I guess. But once he got him down there, it was pretty GG's. I mean, he controlled him for what was it, 12 minutes. So
Jeez.
in a 15-minute fight, yeah, two 30-25s, which I think that's a first I've seen in a while. Domination, not much else to say. Buckley could be cooked here against a wrestler the rest of the times.
I'd love to see like Brady versus Malott or something like that. I think that'd be really fun.
Mm.
But Brady, I don't because I don't really want to see him fight up necessarily. I'd like. I don't know if he. I don't know, but great performance by Sean Brady.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on to the first fight of the main card here. Throwback fight: King Green versus Jeremy Stevens. Uh, what did you guys think about this fight? King Green getting the submission looked pretty impressive. Stevens just in and out of the UFC. What did you guys think?
I thought it was a cool Legends fight, man. I mean, like two, old head household names. I think it's cool to give Bobby Green someone his own age to fight. Like the man is 39, always like fighting contenders and shit, and like they always try to sacrifice him to like the Zellhubers of the world, and like sometimes he comes through, sometimes he doesn't. But like when you put him against like people of his own generation, he usually fucks them up, to be honest. I mean, like for his own age, like he is a very good athlete, and I mean, like his quickness was just way too much for Stevens in there. Really whooped his ass, and I mean, I thought getting the submission was dope. Like showing that, like while Jeremy Stevens has been doing BKFC and shit, like I'm gonna actually like I'm a martial artist in here. I'm gonna mix it all up, and I thought that was pretty cool for him to get this up here.
Yeah, I mean, not. I love the story of the fight. I loved the matchup, but I loved it more for King Green. I thought he was gonna get this one done easy, and he did. Very handily. I thought he whooped his ass on the feet, got the takedown, and just kind of easily got the rear naked. And great performance from good old Bobby.
Oh, yeah. Let's move to these prelims, guys, and we'll just start at the top, man. Gutierrez knocks out Ozzy Diaz in the second round. This is definitely the finish we were looking for. What did you guys think of the finish, and is it time to maybe step up the comp a little bit for him?
I honestly thought that Ozzy Diaz, like until he like got killed, I thought that he like did solid in there to like just not get ran the fuck over. I one thing about Gutierrez, like because he looks like Ngannou so much, like I kind of expect him sometimes to fight a lot more aggressive, but he's very patient in there. He doesn't rush things, and I think that that will serve him well long term, like in the long term. But I would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive on like people that like you're supposed to run over, just because like that like this level of inactivity is going to be a little bit problematic when you get, rapidly pushed up the ranks and like all of a sudden you're fighting like, some ranked guys. I think he can obviously win a lot of these fights at middleweight, like ranked fights, of course, but like he is gonna have to like start a little bit faster, you know what I mean? I think he is a bit of a slow starter, and that is a bit of a it could be a bit of an issue going forward. Like against these guys, this caliber of guy, it won't be a problem, but like in the long term, I would like to see him start a little bit faster. But I mean, besides that, great performance.
You look great, for the most part. And Ozzy Diaz was like talking shit after the first round, like he doesn't hit that hard. I'm like, Ozzy Diaz, you just lost the first round and you're bragging? Like, what's going on here? And then immediately get slumpy dumps within a minute of the second. So I enjoyed it a lot. I like Gucci. I think, I mean, Ozzy Diaz didn't do anything like as I expected. So like, he got to fight up from this. This felt like a drop off from the last fight, which I don't get, but I still think probably an unranked guy, just keep building him. I think it's fine, but they might try to push him, but feels a little early. Definitely like a higher unranked guy.
Yeah, he's definitely got to work on some shit. Like, is Mearshart still in there or what?
Probably.
Oh, yeah. That'd be
Okay.
a perfect test.
There you go. I like that.
But what else on the prelim sticks out to you guys?
This Yaroslav Os Osmov dude from Bellator went crazy. I mean, he looked really impressive out there with his grappling. Uh, and he looks old as fuck for some reason. He looks 45, but he's like 32 apparently. Like they need to like really find his real birth certificate because I swear he's lying out there, bro. But I mean, however old he is, he whoops ass in there, and he's a great grappler. I think he's like 29 and 1 or like 30 and 1 now, maybe even. Like he looks like a dog. So I fuck with him.
Yamazov a beast. Yeah, I think he's a good contender, another good welterweight here. I think he's ranked, I believe,
Let's see. Let me
from
see.
the 15
He
before this.
he was 14 going into this.
Okay.
And man, dude, I was seeing some takedowns out there that I like don't really see that much. He like had a body lock and like he threw himself back and like he looks crazy out there, man. And like I think at the same time he's fighting at the war in Ukraine. He used to be a Bellator champion. This guy is just insane. And Joel Alvarez is no like clown. Like a year or so ago, we were talking about he was undefeated. He was in a really good position. So huge win, and he's a problem at 170 for sure.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Jim
Grant
Miller.
Dal
Oh, Jim Miller, man, getting that fucking sub.
in the Gilly.
I took that fight to go over a round and a half, but good old Jim, man. Good old Jared Gordon, bro. Fraudulent ass. Couldn't keep his head out of a guillotine for a round and a half, bro. Oh,
Ooh,
Jim Miller. I mean, that shit he said about his son having cancer and beating cancer. Shout outs to him, man. I love old Jim, and I would love to keep seeing him going. Keep seeing him fight as long as he wants, as long as he's out here whooping ass and getting subs. I thought he was getting the better of Gordon on the feet as well, too. Like, just an old dog, just an old wily vet in there, man. Collecting these wins, like Infinity Stones, bro, and I fuck with him.
He's closing in on 50 UFC fights. Like it's just ridiculous. Got a huge dub in his home state, and absolute legend.
ooh. I low key had under 1.5. Jim Miller Gordon. I'm sorry, Alex. I had a feeling these old men were gonna like someone was gonna finish one.
I would have won over personally too, but yeah, that was a good call, Nick. Then I would have won over.
I just had a feel it was such an old man fight and they're kind of finishers, so it might have been under 2.5 actually, so
I
don't
feel
quote
that.
me on this. I don't recall honestly, but
I feel that.
took the under.
But yeah, great night of fight, guys. Next week we got the or this week we got the MVP Netflix card to talk about. So maybe we'll make a video about that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Please go check out the TikTok. We always got fun stuff on there, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.